All right.
What up, what up?
Okay, welcome to Digital Cortex.
Yeah.
We're back at it again for reasons no one knows.
We just keep doing the damn thing, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, tell me about your weekend.
What's up, man? Last weekend, we went up to Flagstaff. Yeah.
Right?
Took a drive up there. It was like 70s.
Up north.
Yeah, nice and cool. But actually, I heard it was pretty nice down here, too. Because it was the whole Hurricane Hillary.
Yeah, the hurricane.
That never really hit. And dude, we've had a pretty mild monsoon this year.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any.
Really? Like any like pouring, dropping, like flooding, kind of nothing, huh?
Not that I do remember being on a flood warning, but I don't think it was that bad.
But we didn't get it. Yeah, we haven't got anything. So it was pretty mild up north too. They were expecting to get rain too, but they didn't. So
yeah, we got like light drizzle down here. It was definitely windy, but it wasn't too crazy. It wasn't anything like too bad. It was actually really nice.
Yeah, and it's nice up in, something about being around the trees and it's so fresh and everything. But the only thing is the air, the higher elevation. It's supposed to be over 7,000 feet.
The thinner air quality, or the thinner air.
Yeah, oxygen
the
level.
Air is thin.
Yeah, so when you're going upstairs and steps and stuff, you lose your breath. Like it doesn't matter how many times you breathe in. You're just like. You're just sucking in air, trying to breathe. But I supposedly it takes like 2 to 3 weeks to get like acclimated. Like,
does it?
Yeah, like fully acclimated to the altitude.
Well, that's why people train up there.
Yeah, the Olympic training facility they have in Flagstaff. Yeah, so the guys they do that high altitude training. So supposedly it makes it easier when you go back to sea level. You're able to... Yeah,
because your lungs are able to work harder. Or they're able to, they're able to take in more air than they normally were before. And therefore, more oxygen to your muscles, the better they perform.
Yeah, more endurance you get.
Yeah, that's the idea.
My dad did cross country, and he used to just, you have to just run. And they would go up to Flagstaff, and they would always get killed. Because the guys up in Flag would just beat them. Oh, yeah, because they're... Yeah, you're huffing air, and they're just like... They just run right past you, So, yeah, he said it was always hard to keep up with them. They had an advantage built in. But,
damn.
But, yeah, it is so nice up there. You're just like, man, I just want to stay. Like, I would get used to it. I'll chop some wood, dude. I'll fucking start wearing more flannel. I don't care. It's nice. We've been up there to vacation a few times already. Yeah. And we've enjoyed it. Yeah. It's been nice. Been in all sorts of weather up there, I think. Yeah, they get a lot of snow too. That's another thing. When it was snowing pretty bad. Yeah. So it was cool. It's so funny, like how different Arizona is up there compared to down here. Yeah, it's a whole nother state. Pretty much. It feels like it. Yeah. Yeah, when you go up there, you're like, wait, is this the same? This doesn't even look like, there's no cactus. There's nothing. No. It's all green, trees. And pine trees. Mm-hmm. And you ever been to not fucking, I don't know why I wanted to call it a zoo. The Bearizona? No, we haven't. It's pretty nice. Yeah. We were going to go once, but then we didn't. I forget why, but. Yeah, we've been there maybe 3-4 times. And you get to drive. It's like a drive-through zoo kind of thing. And you get to see the animals. And sometimes a deer will come and walk up to your car and stuff like that. Yeah, because it's just like them living in... I mean, they're enclosed, but it's like free roam enclosure. Yeah, and it's more open, and it's crazy how they keep them like because you're driving through each area. So you're like you'll be in the deer area, and then you'll drive to the wolves, and then you'll drive through the bears, and like they keep them all separated with like, they have like those roller, like, I don't know what you call them. It's like roller gates that you drive over. And then it's like electrified. So like they don't cross that area.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how they do it?
Yeah. They use like electric fencing. And it says it, there's signs on there too. Like, and then they tell you not to get off the car. Don't do any of that bullshit. And then they tell you when to put your windows up. So like when you're going through the deer area, it's fine. But then when you get to like the wolves and the fucking bears, you got to have that shit up. But you'll still see people like fucking put their window down and try to snap pictures and whatnot, or like, and then they'll yell at you too, like they're watching everybody. And sometimes you see like the like park rangers around in cars, and they'll be like, put your windows up, and they'll be just like yelling at people.
Dude, that's got to be the most frustrating job.
Yeah, they're just constantly
to monitor people who just did not want to listen to your rules.
They park on the side. Like, because there's a driving area, but then there's a little bit of extra room for them to park.
Yeah, and they've got to have like an emergency response lane or something.
Yeah, they have those little areas where they can get through. But they'll just park, and they have it literally on their car, like a sign that says "Keep your windows up." They're like, please keep your window. Like, and then they still have a bullhorn, and they have to yell at people for not keeping their windows up because they still won't listen. They're trying to protect you from getting murdered by a bear, like
not only protect you, but like they're trying to protect their park too. Like they don't want nobody getting injured while they're,
Yeah, because if somebody does get injured,
they got to shut down a whole operation. It costs money if someone gets injured.
Then they're probably gonna have to murder that freaking bear, because it's his fault.
That's fucked up.
It's his fault for
all
chewing
because you could not listen to the rules.
Yeah, you wanted to try to pet and sometimes they'll get out of the car too. Like it's crazy.
If our society worked where people were just a little bit more considerate, that's all you had to do. If you just had the mindset every day of like, just is this decision being a good person? That's all you got to ask yourself. Is this decision being a good person? Before you do an action, I think like the world would be such a better place.
Yeah, there has to be some
but
kind of...
But people don't stop and think sometimes. They just do.
There's no like personal accountability, They don't feel bad if they do something stupid, like you fuck it up for everybody, Now they got to shut shit down, like the people that drop stuff in the like enclosures, or like the kid flips over the fence and falls into the gorilla, like... Yeah, like they're just not watching that. I mean, some
or just
of it's
people littering.
There's a lot of litter. You see trash too. It's like, what are you guys doing? Who's throwing trash out?
Why?
Out the window and stuff? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's personal accountability. Like, I would feel bad if I threw something, where there's going to be animals or something. They eat it, and what if it like gets stuck in their intestines or something because they chewed on a plastic top or something, And
I'm not talking like China does this. There's parts of China where they have like they've got cameras that facial tracking and facial recognition.
Yeah.
And so if they see you littering, it's like they publicize it and they send you like accountability, like you go to jail for doing this shit. For simple stuff like super tracking like that. That's intense. That's a little bit too much, I think. You
get rated.
Yeah.
So like
that's scary. Like not like scary, but that's like, come on. The fact that you need to have the government control you like that, that's the fucked up part. That the government wants to, because they want to keep crime down and all that stuff, and they feel like, well, let's fuck it. People aren't listening anyway. But if
give you a rating.
Yeah, so like they give you a rating, yeah.
If you get a certain color, you can't take the fucking bus. You can't go nowhere.
You have been declared not good enough citizen to do it.
Yeah, you can't buy a car or something. Like if you're under certain...
So people strive to like be as good as possible because
you're just always being watched.
You're always being watched. Yeah,
that's too much, man.
That is too much. So that's
a Black Mirror episode.
Exactly. But if we just took a moment, stopped, and just thought to ourselves, is this a good person decision? You know?
Well, that's
the problem, is that people have too much pride. People care about what others think way too much, that they won't even back down from their point when they're caught in being like very stupid argument. You don't see people be like, you know why, you're right. There was no reason for me to be upset. Let's just stop fighting.
I'm going to reconsider my position.
Yeah. It's stupid. No, you get heated and that's like, I guess.
People are married to their ideas.
Yeah.
And they're just ideas. You don't have to be married to them. You don't have to die on the hill. You can, I've had to learn that. That's not an easy thing to learn. You feel so strongly about something and you're like, no, this has got to be, and you're just fighting for it. And you just won't accept any other ideas, and it's like, what am I doing? It's just an idea. Who cares? Like, why am I so closely guarding this idea that was introduced whenever? Maybe it was wrong. I read something or I heard something or somebody told me something and it was wrong. I'm okay with being, you have to be okay with being wrong. And there's too much pride. There's a lot of pride. Everybody has, ego, just controlling things like, oh, you can't hurt my pride. I'm right. And it's just so like, it's unnecessary. But, like the whole cleaning of the picking up after yourself, who does that the best is the Japanese.
They're just so nice.
Well, they pick up. You see regular people just picking up trash. They all feel like
after the Olympics or like FIFA World Cup or something, like
they will come clean the bleachers.
They will clean up after themselves. They know that they made a mess and they're going to clean it up.
You see the people sweeping the streets,
care. And they think about it.
It's like a self-worth. Like, I want to make this place nice. So if everyone chips in, it's easier.
It's like a cultural thing for them. So
even like their kids, like if you send your kid to the store and they're like 11, 12 years old, like the whole community watches them.
And they'll do it at even younger ages. Because we were watching this show from Japan and it's called Old Enough, and they send like 3-year-olds to 5 years olds and to do like tasks, like send them to the grocery store and then stop to go see dad at work and make sure he picks up the thing that he forgot to give to mom and then bring all of that back to the house.
Yeah.
And like these kids will go do it on their own. And of course, since it's a show, like they have camera crews constantly watching them, but they're disguised as like everyday civilians. Like guy like working on the light
construction, he's all
post
drilling
outside, construction workers drilling. But really it's like a camera in the briefcase or on the lunchbox or whatever it is that they're walking around with, and they're just watching the kids. So if the kids get into any situation that's not okay or there's an issue where they couldn't do it, then at least there's, responsible parties there. But the parents are not. The parents have to wait at home and they're just there like worrying. They're like, I just hope he's okay. It's his first time doing it on his own. But they'll send him out at that age, And that trips me out. Like, I don't think in American society I could trust my 5-year-old to walk down the street, grab some milk. Yeah.
It's a different type of environment for sure in New York City. But I heard of a psychologist who wanted his kids to be more independent, and he would send them to the store in New York City. So he walked with them. He said, this is the route. This is how you get to our place and back and forth. And they walked it together. And then he went over, everything in the streets and all that stuff. And they did it together. And then he would send them to the store and, with no help, and they just have to go and they have to come back. And one of them got lost, but they figured it out though. They figured it out and they came home. So like they were doing it, and it's like,
I think that's great.
Kids are really smart, they absorb all the information you're giving them. They're looking around, they're making decisions, like they are really smart, and that's why they're in school, because they're really good at learning things, like this is the time to teach them, and they gives them. And, that would have been like, if it was a hunter-gatherer tribe or whatever, they would be hunting with the males, and, whatever.
How else are you supposed to learn anything?
There would be shadowing. Some that cook and some that clean and, some that, they all have their place, and they'd be watching and helping, and they would be doing a good job, like it's a, a farming family, they know how to feed the chickens and all that stuff.
I mean, I don't have kids, but the one thing that I hear a lot of is like, have your kids help you make dinner. or have your kids help you do chores or whatnot. Like when they're young, they just want to help anyway.
Yeah, they want to just naturally do what you're doing.
And that gives them like a sense of like, these are the things we have to do for the house.
Yeah, if I'm bouncing a basketball, they just go grab another one. They start bouncing it too.
Like my old roommate's nephew came to visit us and stay with us. And the kid was like 12, 13 years old or something, right? And did not know how to crack an egg. Did not know how to like turn the stove on.
Yeah.
His mom does everything for him.
Yeah.
And I was just like blown away at that. Like my parents, you know, not out of necessity for teaching us anything, but just because, you know, my parents were just fucking we had like 4 kids and then 2 foster brothers.
Yeah.
So we had to like do things ourselves. And it's not like we grew up on the edge of middle class when it still existed, like right below that line, you know, enough for we can get
to
clothes every school year.
Yeah, you're comfortable.
Yeah. But we couldn't splurge on anything nice.
Yeah, you couldn't get the new cool Nikes or whatever.
No,
you just like
we shopped at Ross. Yeah, you know,
and
whatever I could find.
Yeah,
at Ross, that's what I could wear.
Yeah, and sometimes you get lucky, right?
Or Walmart, you know, on a 99-cent store. Yeah. You get your groceries as probably the most expensive thing. We can afford to take everybody out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's how we lived. And so we had to do our own laundry at a young age and learn to cook for ourselves. And my parents both worked. So sometimes we would be home by ourselves, just trying to figure out life. We'd have chores. You had to do the dishes. But in our cycle of it, it wasn't like, oh, I want to help do this. If I was at a young age and I tried to help do the dishes and surprise my mom, I'd get in trouble because I made a mess because she wasn't there to help me and supervise it. And my mom's just trying to get shit done. She got to take care of the whole house. She don't have the time to just sit there and play with my emotions about helping out with laundry or some shit. So we had it more of like doing household stuff as a chore or a punishment.
Yeah.
But we still had to do it. Like every week was like, it's your job to vacuum, you vacuum. That's not how you vacuum, do it again.
Did you guys rotate or did you pretty much have the same?
The thing.
Yeah. That's what I felt.
And eventually, you know, when I was doing theater and I started staying later, I would stay like most of my day from beginning of day to end of day at theater. I wouldn't even eat dinner at home.
Yeah.
So by the time I would get home, for a while, my job was to put away all of the dinner and then wash the dishes.
Put away the dinner you didn't eat.
Yeah, exactly. And so as a teenager, I started to rebel against that. I told my mom, I was like, no. She's like, what do you mean no?
He would just say no.
I just said no. I was like, no. Oh, my mom was mad.
Oh, yeah. Mama,
she was mad.
Don't mess with mama.
So, like, she was like, well, what do you mean no? And I told her, well, I didn't eat this food. I didn't make this food. I'm not going to clean this food up and put it away. I just sleep here.
Yeah.
And eventually got to a point where it was like, look, I'm going to pick up after myself and I'm just going to do my things.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm here for. And my mom was so mad. She would start yelling at me and everything. And I was like, we would get into like these arguments about it. And then one day she was talking to her friend. Her friend was over or something. And she was complaining about me to her friend in like a sarcastic way. Oh, Steven is so mean to me. He talks back all the time. He won't do any of the chores and things. And I was like, look, I don't appreciate you talking to me about your friend. And then that lady had the fucking balls to say something to me. Like, I was pissed off teenager. You don't fuck with a teenager like that.
She called you?
She called me out and she was like, you should be more respectful to your elders.
Was she there?
She was there. She was like physically
person.
in the kitchen, like sitting down with my mom as my mom's talking shit about me.
And you overheard and you came in and busted in. You were like,
I don't appreciate you saying that kind of stuff about me to strangers. Yeah. And this lady was like, I've known your mom for so long. We're not strangers. She could tell me whatever you want. And I said, with all due respect, the business between my mom and my relationship is between me and my mom. I don't know you, so I would prefer you not in my business unless you want to tell me about all your relationship. And I just walked out. Like, I was a little fucking asshole like that. I really was. And my mom got so mad at me that night. And then she was like, she's like, you don't talk to me that way. You don't talk to my company that way. And yelling at me in front of this lady.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, then I just won't talk to you.
And you walked away.
And I walked away. So if my mom told me to do something that I felt like I was supposed to be doing anyway, like, can you take out the trash, please? Yeah, I'll do it. You know, that kind of simple stuff, like, that I felt, I would just do it, but I wouldn't respond to her.
You just do it.
I literally did not talk to my mom for a full month. It got to a point where my dad came fucking cussing me out, yelling at me, being like, your mom's over there crying because you haven't talked to her in weeks and I can't put up with this shit. Go apologize to her. And I'm like, she should be apologizing to me. For a full month, until I finally felt bad enough. I was like, okay.
What was the first thing you said?
I opened her door and I was like, sorry for not talking to you. And I walked away.
What did she say? Nothing? She just...
Nothing.
Oh my God.
I was a little fucking asshole. Dude, I really was. And I remember this other moment specifically. My parents were arguing. Yeah. And the way they argued is my mom antagonized my dad. She knew exactly which strings to pull to piss him off. Yeah. And my dad had very short temper.
Classic.
And clouded like judgment. So he had no forethought. He just moved. You know, he grew up on the streets too. So he was like
instincts. He just boom, boom.
Like if someone's fucking with you, arguing or some shit, like he gets fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know? Like, anyway. So my mom knew exactly what to do to piss him off.
Yeah.
Right?
Which, you know, if you've been with anybody long enough, you know.
But she would do it, like, psychologically.
She was dropping, like, truth bombs. Like
she would say some fucking shit, you know.
Or, like, slow detonating ones, you know, where you just, like, poke and then it just
She thought she was so smart with, like, the conversation parts of arguing. And she was probably right, you know. Yeah. And my dad, all he would do is, like, just get mad and react, and he wouldn't hit us or my mom or anything, but he'd punch a fucking hole in a wall. Yeah. So I remember walking in and they're arguing back and forth, and I eventually was like upset with it, and I felt like this is how I had to talk to my parents, and I yelled at my dad. I yelled at my dad, and I was like, don't you know she's just You're running around an argument that is pointless and blah, 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 blah. This is stupid. And I don't know why you're even putting up with this type of arguing. It's ridiculous what you two are doing.
Yeah.
You just need to stop and calm down. And then he like got pissed off and he walked away. And my mom's still in the living room, like on the couch. And she's like, thank you, Mijo. And I was like, shut up too. Because this is your fault, because you knew exactly what you were doing to piss him off. So you both need to stop acting like fucking children and start acting like adults. I shouldn't have to come in here and yell at both of you to get you to stop fighting. And I walked away, because that's what I do. So I remember years later, my mom had told me, she's like, you remember when you had yelled at me and your dad? I was like, yeah. I think this is after like I graduated school.
Yeah.
She was like, well, moments later, your dad came out and he sat on the couch and was just very quiet. And he apologized. And I apologized. And we were just sitting there in silence. And the only thing that broke the silence is he said, I think Steven's going to be okay.
Yeah. I think he's got it figured out.
Yeah. I think from that moment forward, my parents just kind of realized I was like way more independent than they expected. And then from that moment on, they stopped like worrying about me. Their go-to is Steven is independent. He can handle himself and we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of sucked too. Because like as a teenager, you do feel like you're becoming an adult, but like teenagers still kids.
Yeah, they got the rebelliousness in them, but they also need help still, you know? So it's like a give and take. You have to kind of play these little like psychological games, you know, where like you're like wanting them to do something, but then you don't tell them that you want them to do it, because then once you tell them, then they don't want to do it.
Like you just want your parents to be like loving poster parents sometimes.
That too, like, hey, how was your day, son?
That kind of stuff, yeah. You know, I did theater, so... Yeah.
You would read about these
my
families.
Parents, well, here's what I knew, okay?
Yeah.
I would do theater. I'd be in like fucking starring role.
Yeah.
Right? I'd be the lead. And there would be someone who was like stagehand.
Yeah.
Their role was just to be a person when somebody needed a person backstage.
Yeah.
Or whatever the
They're
point.
organizing things back there.
Or a prop. Or they wouldn't even have a line. They would just be a background character. Like you're just in this scene, you're busy traffic people. In this scene, you're supposed to be driving the taxi or whatnot. You know,
you're basically kind of part of the set.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had a lobby to the theater, and so they would sell like concessions. They would sell like, you know,
some snacks,
water bottles, snacks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there would be kids, and then flowers and grams and whatnot. And there would be kids that would get so much things every night. Like they would get flowers every night from their parents, or cookies, or water or whatnot, or break a leg grams is what they called them, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, just like, oh, break a leg. Hope you do well. Have a fun night. We're out there watching. And the parents would come like every show, because that's what you do when your kid is.
You support your kids.
You support your kid in whatever thing that they want to do. If your kid's in choir, you're going to every fucking choir concert, like whether you want to or not, because your kid wants you to. They might not say it, but they want it.
Yeah, they're looking. You know, you're gonna be. You know, I did it when I was playing varsity football. You look in the stands. You're like, oh man, can I see that? I mean, I think they're
who's
there,
here for me?
Yeah, you want to see your. You know, and it feels good.
My parents never came.
Yeah, you're like, the stagehand got fucking flowers, and I'm starring.
I'm the lead, and I wouldn't get anything. You know, I feel so bad because it was the parents and the people who came for them. And nobody came for me because all my friends were already in the show. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in it. And then you just want that, you know. You did
I didn't have the
job.
External thing. You know, I didn't have an external pact of friends that could come from my science class and wanted to come support me, or parents or siblings that came to support me. Not to say that they didn't support me. Like, you know, my parents did support me. Like they were like there for whatever I needed, you know. If I needed it, if it was necessary, you know, like they would allow me to go to this stuff. They encouraged me to do it. It wasn't like they were totally against it and actively tried to stop me or anything. They were supportive, and I don't know, they were busy and whatnot. You know, they had all these other kids to raise, and what are they going to do? Buy tickets for everybody to go? And I knew they couldn't really afford to go to every show either.
That's a lot.
But I don't know.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice.
It would have been nice.
Yeah. But, you know,
they would either go to no shows at all or just like one show.
At the same time, you could, if you want to look at it a different way, you could say that kind of that was your driving, though. That like really like lit a fire under you to like be the lead. Like you pushed yourself so hard because you were looking for that like validation. So
I don't know, maybe.
In a way, you can say kind of like, that's why a lot of these guys, you know, they have bad situations they grew up in, but they're just driven. They won't stop. You know, it's like you were trying to fill that void, and then you're just like, I'm going to be the best, you know? Like,
and it's not to say my parents aren't so proud of me right now. Like, you know, out of the majority of my siblings.
They sound like they were busy parents, you know.
And the ones that like have succeeded in life to a good point, like they're proud of the person I've become.
Yeah, they weren't like throwing bottles at you like, Steven, you're a bum. Why don't you give that up? You know, like they weren't like you didn't have to
good
fight.
Parents. I had a good childhood. It wasn't bad.
It could have been worse, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been way worse.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if it was better, but yeah, who's not saying that?
Yeah.
And it's not like my parents weren't there for other things. And they took us to the doctor's appointments. They fed us. They taught us values.
Yeah, sounds like it's good. Sounds like busy parents.
They had their problems, and they weren't perfect people for each other. And I think that was one of the issues. But
and they made it work, as long as they could.
And they did it for the wrong reasons. They did it for, we're trying to stay together for the kids, which I don't think ever helps anybody in the family.
It's tough, man. It's a tough juggle, Do I stay? Do I go? There's studies that show parents that are, two-parent households, do better than single parent.
Definitely agree on that. But I feel like if parents...
But at what point, is it reached the point where it's like too much?
If people are constantly arguing with each other on a daily basis and they know they're not good for each other and they're waiting for the kids to become 18 so they can immediately get divorced, you should have just gotten it done with way sooner.
Probably. And you probably would all be happier for it. It's definitely more healthy to get out of toxic situations. But, I could see both sides of it. I could see pushing through and just being like, what? We're doing it. Yeah. And I think there's sometimes the people that could push through and they don't, they give up, and it's like I don't think people, you see it more in the older generations. They got married and that was it. It's like they were together and that's it, and it's not perfect and it maybe won't ever be perfect, but it doesn't have to be either. It's just something you work on, and I don't know. You think about it and you're like, dude, shit's wild out there, like you think you're going to happiness and you might be going to like hell, dude. Like the single life is fucking nuts, dude. Like I don't think I would want to do that again.
Yeah. It was lonely being single and moving to a new place without knowing anybody really when I came out here.
Yeah, that was a big leap, man. You were taking chances, dude.
I was. And I was had my own apartment and everything, right?
You're like, I'm going to do this shit.
But it was different because in California, I would be out like every weekend.
Yeah.
Almost every other night, I was hanging out, if not every night, with somebody.
Yeah.
I would get off work and I'd be home and I'd be relaxing. And then like my friend would get off work. So he'd roll through and crack open a beer in my mini fridge and we watch, all of our TV shows we need to catch up on for the week. Or whatever it was. Like we never missed How I Met Your Mother or Community or something like that, And then every weekend I'd be going out to their friend's house to party, their apartment, or we go out to a bar just to hang out. We're just chilling all the time. Come here. Nothing. It's work. It's find some food. The work schedule was just as bad anyway. Like I started getting out at 10 sometimes.
And what were you doing?
When I was in call center work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
I had like a 2 to 10 schedule.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Yeah, that's a second shift or close to third shift, right? Our third shifts are usually like overnight, right?
Yeah, it's still second shift. I think it's like 4 hours past. No, it's a certain amount of hours past something else. Second shift, I think, was like 4 hours past 4 o'clock. So it was like barely at the edge of that.
Yeah, you're pushing into...
Or it's up to 4 hours past 4 o'clock or something like that. Depending on when you start.
Did people think you were crazy when you told them you were moving? You're like, yeah, I'm going to Arizona. They're like, what?
No, I don't think so. Well, some people were. They were like, oh, you're moving? I was like, yeah. I got a job. I'm going to take it. Yeah. It's cheaper out there.
And they're like, dang, you're going to go to Arizona?
I'm going to live.
You're just going to move out there?
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking crazy. I wished, that like... I could have brought all my friends with me or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was probably like the hardest part of it all was not knowing anybody for so long. And then the people I did meet were coworkers. Some of them blossomed into like great friends. Yeah. To this day, we still hang out.
Yeah.
And then But it was harder to meet people when you're confined to like such specific groups.
It's so everything's different too. You know, the landscape's different. The work is different. It's all these
like your local bars have turned to like something different. And it's just...
And you don't know all the areas. You don't know all the places. I still don't know all
the areas. I was driving downtown the other day. I hardly ever drive downtown at all.
Yeah.
And so it's like trying to follow the GPS, but it's not oriented right. And I don't know where I'm going. These streets are confusing. Some of them are one ways. It doesn't make any sense the way they set it up. Like, I'm just like, it's stressful. Crystal's like, oh, why did you not turn at that stop sign? I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to turn there yet. Like, I thought it was the next stop sign.
It can be confusing.
I don't know why we have stop signs in the middle of this area anyway. Like, but I don't know. It's different. I still don't feel 100% at home in Arizona.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm trying to feel at home in here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain aspects to it that make me feel better.
Yeah.
Especially now compared to how I used to. Like meeting Crystal, of course. Yeah, the house that we've been building here, and
you got work some good and everything going on. You know. Yeah. You
and other friends that I've met. Like, there's some beautiful things I would miss if I ever left, and I think that's one of the hardest things too. Is, do I ever want to move again?
It's tough, man. It's starting all over again. You know, it's like going back to zero and then climbing back up that hill, you know, like even just moving to another location. You're like, all right, I got to find out where my good gas station is, where my bad one is, you know, like whenever you move to a new city or something, you know, you're just trying to get a layout of the area. There's definitely pros and cons to everything, but yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking wild time everywhere, man. A lot of shit going on. A lot of stuff going down and up.
Right.
You know, I was, we were talking about the clouds and the storms and the lack of storms we've been having here. Because it's been pretty mild season while you die.
I'm dying so hard.
You're doing high altitude training right now.
Oh. Jesus.
Jeebus.
I don't know what happened.
What are you doing to yourself, dude?
I'm dying, man. I'm fucking dying out here.
Oh, that was funny.
Jesus.
Yeah. But, dude, you know, like, we haven't
Does it feel warm in here now, too?
A little bit. Oh, yeah, it's...
Hey, Google. What's the temperature in the house?
Cooling is set to 76 degrees with a current temperature of 75 degrees.
It's supposed to be cold.
No, it isn't cold right now. The temperature is 103 degrees.
She got you.
Thanks, Google.
You said it feels cool. It's supposed to be cool. And she's like, no, it's not.
I'm just going to put it down a degree so it just fills us with cold air.
Yeah, if you put it down one and it just
Google,
clicks on.
Set the AC to 74.
All that smoke you blowing.
Setting upstairs to 74 degrees.
It's blowing all that smoke, man, making it warm in here.
Oh, yeah. That's probably what it was. And it doesn't help. We took a shot before this, too.
Yeah, we did. Some fucking gin.
Yeah, pink flavored gin.
Warms the body.
What did I say it was? It was like blackberries and rosemary?
I don't even know.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was all right for gin. I'm not a gin person.
Yeah, I don't really care for gin either. Yeah. But that one was pretty smooth. It didn't have like that. Gin usually has that very... It's the juniper when they make juniper.
Yeah.
Has that very like juniper taste to it. Just weird and too... What's the word I'm thinking of?
I don't know. What are you thinking of?
I don't know. But it tastes too earthy, I think, sometimes. And itchy, like spicy. Like a spicy, earthy.
Like a spice?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I know that I've enjoyed
for sure.
The aviation gin Because it doesn't have that harsher, spicy feel to it and taste.
Yeah, what the time that I did take because we did shots of aviation one time.
Oh yeah,
and yeah,
we've done shots of everything.
I can tolerate that for sure.
So we're gonna go out this weekend.
Yeah,
we're just gonna walk around First Fridays. Is there anything specific we're gonna head to?
I'm trying to stay out of it. I'm trying to let them do
let them plan it.
Yeah.
Crystal keeps asking me things. I'm like,
so it's a feedback loop you're still gonna get.
I'll just tell her we're staying out of it. It's a unanimous decision.
There you go. Yeah.
We decided it's you guys to plan it. She'll get pissed off. She'll be like, I plan everything.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll figure it out, man. I like just flying by the seat of my pants.
So I can't remember what is around that area.
We'll find something. We'll talk to some locals. We'll walk around. We'll get the beat of the street, man. I want to feel the vibes of the city. Don't you just like walking around the city, just feeling the vibes sometimes?
I mean, we were out in the city last night.
Have you ever walked downtown, like anywhere?
Yeah, we were off of 4th Street and damn, I forget.
What about any other cities? You ever go to any other cities downtown?
Yeah. We went to
Portland. How was Portland?
We were in Portland, walking around downtown.
How'd
Portland.
that feel when you walk around?
It was all right. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it was a little hot there because it was humid, but it wasn't as bad as Phoenix. So it was like a step down. Like we were,
and
it
a lot
was
of
a good
green,
break for us.
A lot of trees and stuff like that.
I gotta stop ripping this thing.
Put it away, dude. He's dying, people. He's dying.
I just finished my water, dude. I have no liquids.
Guess you're just gonna have to deal with it, son.
I'll just bury me here. Just let the world end. I'm done with it.
Here, you want something to think about while you're fucking high? I'll give you something to think about.
I don't even think I'm that high yet.
Well, you've been ripping that fucking pen. I hope you're high. So here's a high thought for you. So, do you know how much the average cloud weighs? Like a rain cloud? Like your average size rain cloud.
Jesus. Weighs?
Yeah, because it's carrying water. What would you guess? What would be your guess?
I don't know.
Give it one. Give it a shot. Throw something out there.
Well, I want to say, is it really the same weight as regular water? Because doesn't it have to, turn from gas to
there is a weight.
To solid?
There is a weight. If you look it up, there's a weight.
I know. There's going to be a weight. Everything has weight. But I feel like it would be less than what it would be as solid, right? I don't know.
What's your guess?
I
know the answer.
20 pounds. Can I hold the cloud?
It's a rain cloud. Like a rain cloud that's going to...
how big are rain clouds?
Like your average size.
I can't think of this right now. Just fucking tell me.
So an average size rain cloud weighs 1.1 million pounds.
1.1 million pounds?
Yes.
Dude, what else weighs 1.1 million pounds for retrospective?
I don't know. But...
how much does the Eiffel Tower weigh?
A lot.
Is it millions? Hey, Google.
I could look it up.
How much does the Eiffel Tower weigh?
10,100 tons, according to some information I found on the website Torah.
Hey, Google.
Paris.
10,000 tons to pounds.
10,000 tons is equal to 2.205 times 10 to the 7 pounds.
What the fuck does that mean? I don't know math like that. I went to art school, for shit's sake, man. All right, what do we got there? What are you looking up?
22 million pounds.
22 million?
For the Eiffel Tower.
Okay. That's, I guess that. So it's, how much of that is the Eiffel Tower?
So right here you go. So it's a one.
Why don't you just bring that right here?
Here you go. Read it.
Oh, you want me to read it? I was too high for this. This was your thing. You read it. Shit. All right. Is that a cloud or a UFO? What is that?
Just read it.
Hold on. A 1 cubic kilometer cloud contains 1 billion cubic meters. Doing the math, 1 billion times 0.5 equals 500,000 grams of water droplets in our cloud. That is about 500,000 kilograms or 1.1 million pounds, about 551 tons.
All right.
Okay, but 551 tons. Let me see this. Okay, let's see.
So what are you looking up now? Give us a play-by-play.
I want to see a reference of what that is.
Oh, how big of a size that is?
Yeah. 1/45th as heavy as a Statue of Liberty. That doesn't tell me anything, though.
You could just put that as a square area.
I just want to know what it is. Like, it's this object, you know?
It's comparable to a school bus or something. Or
is it? Like, how much is a school bus?
Or 10 school buses or something like that, because it would be a wide area. Or 50 school buses. I don't know how many cubic area. Not a mathematician.
So a school bus only weighs 10 to 25,000 pounds. So it needs to be bigger than a school bus.
How many school buses then would it have to be to equal? Because then you could just say that. So just multiply.
So there's 2,000 pounds in a ton. And we needed how many? 25,000? Let's just say a 25,000 pound school bus. When empty. Oh. So 36,000 pounds fully loaded school bus. Okay. And how much did I say? 22 in a ton?
I think so. Did you close the tab?
No, I just went back. No, it's 2,000 in a ton. And it's 36,000. So 36,000 to tons is what? 3,600. Wait. I'm too high for this. Why am I doing this?
I don't know. You're going way off of where I was going to go with it.
No, it's 36,000. 18 tons. And how many tons is a cloud?
You closed the tab, didn't you? Son of a bitch. always keep your tabs open.
551. 551. So 551 divided by 18? Right?
I guess.
It's 30.6. So 30 and a half school buses.
There we go. Now we
fully loaded school buses.
Now we know what the cloud would have to equal.
Okay.
That's great. But where I was going with it was, if you know the cloud weighs 1.1 million pounds and it's dropping this water, how does it stay in the fucking air?
I think that goes back to it being a gas.
But it has a weight to it. So how the fuck is it staying in the air? Like, I'm not a meteorologist or fucking, I don't know how this shit works, but it definitely has a weight to it, and it's in the air, and it's just Google, floating.
How does a cloud stay in the air?
On the website USGS.gov, they say, even though a cloud weighs tons, it doesn't fall on you because the rising air responsible for its formation keeps the cloud floating in the air. People also ask me, how do clouds not run out of water? Want to hear the answer?
No. I don't care about that.
So it's just the rising air.
It's just the air is pushing it up.
The rising air keeps it floating, which is crazy.
Okay, Tattoo by Lorene.
What?
Here it is on YouTube Music.
Hey, Google. Shut up.
She's like, noted. Steven, that's 17 strikes.
Hey, Google.
Oh, shit,
hey, Google. Shut up.
You gotta say stop, dude.
I think he listened. It's just angry.
She's not happy with you for sure.
No, she's definitely not.
She's plotting your murder somehow, dude. She's gonna have to.
Jesus.
She's gonna have to toast her short circuit or something.
I'm like dying here. All right.
You're gonna put your hand in to get a piece of toast and you're gonna die or something like that. She's gonna figure out a way to shock you while you sleep.
Dude, that's scary. Why you gotta put thoughts like that in my head?
I'm just saying, man. Every time.
Do you know they're making a new Exorcist movie?
Are they? I think they don't have enough, right?
No way.
They need more.
But it looks like this one ties into the original.
Okay. That's good that they're going back to the original because that's like the one that worked.
It's like within that same universe for that one specifically. I guess.
They really never followed up with that in any of the other movies, right?
I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen
there
the
was
original
a second one. Wasn't there?
I do think they did a second one, but I feel like it was a different case or something.
Or they went a whole nother storyline.
They made it seem like this one was like maybe the same demon or whatever that was in the original Exorcist possession.
Let's look it up.
Okay. Like you could put that laptop in front of you here. You don't have to be so off from the camera. Yeah, just look it up like that. That's what we need to do. We need to get like iPads in here. That's an interesting thought. So out of liquid.
God damn it.
I know. What are you looking up?
No, I was spelling exorcist, but then like I missed a letter or something and I clicked on exercise.
So you're looking up exercises now?
There's definitely a 3. So there has to be a 2.
It probably wasn't called 2.
Exorcist. The first one was in 1973.
Yeah. I remember my dad telling me when he saw that movie, he was out with a friend and they were walking home. And he was so fucking terrified from that
Exorcist
movie.
Exorcist 2, 1973.
Yeah. He was so terrified that he was like, when he was separated from his friend, like they lived like just a block or 2 away from each other. And he was a kid and they had snuck into that movie. That he was so fucking scared that as soon as like they were about to separate, they both jetted for their house. Terrified them.
It was a lot for a lot of people, and there was like religious groups that were against it. Like it was a whole thing, man. Like
yeah, that happened with Kevin Smith when he did Dogma.
People were against that too.
Anything
with religion, you're gonna,
which was so savage because it really fucked up the ticket buying experience for that movie. I mean, that movie had skipping on the fucking names. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Right? And they were just coming off of like getting their awards and everything for Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
So this was like a big deal of a movie, you know? And it was a really good movie. A lot of people will say like this is probably his best movie.
Mm-hmm. I gotta see it again. It's been so long.
It's so good. Like it's fun. And
it's a hoot of a time.
It really is.
You know what? I was just watching Clerks the other day.
Were you?
Yeah, I put it on. And it holds up. It still is the movie that it was.
Right.
You know? And it's frozen in time. You know, I love movies that you can just watch that are frozen in their time. You know, it's so 90s. It's so like topical, and you know the things that are going on.
That scene is
the videos. Scene, you know, the video rental place and everything. It's like,
but that scene when they are talking about like Star Wars,
yeah,
and the construction workers and shit.
Yeah,
on the Death Star.
Oh, because it was unfinished.
So fucking classic. It's like, yeah, no, I get the first one. You know, when they kill it and all. It's like you signed up for that. It's like the army. You know, you knew what was going to happen. There was the danger involved. Yeah. Everybody signed up for that. But on the second one, they were still building it. Yeah, what's your point? Well, you know, what about the contractors that are on there? You know, that's just somebody who's doing the plumbing. Like, he's just building this thing. Did he really deserve to die?
Yeah.
For what? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, how many roofers do you need to build the Death Star?
A lot. Untold amounts of contractors, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a dumb thought.
It's so stupid. But it's like one of those fucking thoughts that you would just, and that's one of the reasons, you know, Kevin Smith, his style of dialogue, like he just knew how to talk like an everyday person, and that's what he made movies about.
It was an everyday conversation that you would have
with your friend that never showed up in a movie.
Yeah, at least your interesting friend, you would have that.
Exactly.
They would bring up something. You're like, dude, why do you always bring up weird stuff? You know, like, I would probably be the one bringing up stuff like that. Like I'm bringing up rain clouds. You know, like, I was probably that guy. But yeah, no, Tarantino is classic for that too. Mm-hmm. You know, his conversational scenes where
that's right.
The very beginning of, you know, of Pulp Fiction, where they're having the whole conversation about the, you know, they don't call it a quarter pounder in France.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And he's like, well, what do they call it? Because, you know,
it like grounds you, that kind of stuff.
A Royale with cheese.
Because you're kind of like in the conversation at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just two dudes talking. And then he talks about, hey, man, did you hear about so-and-so? He got thrown out of a window and off the second floor, got fucked up. He's got a stutter now. And he's like, what? He's like, why? He's like, well, I heard that he gave the missus a foot massage. And John Travolta's like, man, well, you know, he went too far. And then Samuel's like, man, it was just a foot massage. You gonna throw somebody out a window for a foot massage? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, he didn't even have sex with her or anything, man. That was just a foot massage. And he's like, and then Travolta's like, you know how to give a foot massage? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I got the oils down and everything. And then he's like, would you give me a foot massage? And he's like, man, fuck you. Because, you know, his whole point was, you know, Samuel was saying it don't mean nothing. Yeah. It's just a foot massage. It don't mean nothing. And then he's like,
so then why don't you give me a foot massage?
He's like, why don't you give me a foot? And he's like, man, get out of here. He's like, you better stop. He's like, it does mean something, you know. That was his whole point. But, yeah, you know, they're having this whole conversation in nice suits, you know, with the tie on, walking through this hallway. You don't know what they're doing, you know. And then they're very punctual. So they're like, what time is it? And he's like, oh, no, we got a few minutes. Just hang back over here. So they won't even go in and talk to this guy until it hits the exact time they're supposed to be there. Right. So they're very, very professional. You know, he's giving you all these signals without... he's telling you they're professional by just showing you, you know. And, you know, Travolta's got the hair slicked back, and, you know, Samuel's got his, you know, face trimmed up, you know, that classic chops that he did for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, no, you just see this whole conversation. And they don't talk about what they're going to do. They're not talking about, you know, what they're going to go see. They're just having a conversation. They're just two guys in a car having a conversation. And they just happen to be at work. That's their job. You know, so it made Hitman or just some regular thugs seem interesting. Yeah. You know, normally in a movie, you would just send the two brutes or whatever to go beat somebody up or something, you know, and they would be, the camera would be fixed on the boss, you know, and go do this, you know, I need you to bring him here, you know, or something. No, these are the two.
They like dramatize it, you know?
Yeah. Just
like they just make it.
These two henchmen, basically, hired muscle.
But when you have like these type of movies with the that kind of like grounded feel, realism, that's the kind of stuff that like really captivates a wider audience, I think, because they're not just like focusing on story now. They're just focusing on being part of the conversation.
It brings you into the world.
Yeah, you're in there. You're
in their world. You're in the car. You're sitting there.
Because you relate at this point.
Yeah, and they seem real. They made them very real, very grounded. And people always ask him about the briefcase, because remember Travolta opens up the briefcase when they finally go in.
What's in the briefcase?
No, he never tells you what's in the briefcase, because he wants you He goes, it individualizes the movie. So what do you think was in the briefcase?
Shit, I never even like decided to guess because I could not fathom what it could be, especially something that lights up like that. Like, what is it that has to glisten? Is the glisten abstract, or is it real to the movie?
Yeah.
Like it has to be real. They didn't make anything else abstract. So what is going to glisten that? And the only thing I can think of is maybe it's a giant fucking chunk of smooth gold.
Yeah.
That's the only logical conclusion I can come up with. But I don't know.
Yeah, you think of some kind of... I thought of like gold bars. That was my first thing. Like some gold bars, you know, very, very shiny, you know, very golden, like glow. You know, he does have an idea of what it is because he wrote it. So he knows what's in the briefcase, but he won't tell you what's in the briefcase because he's like, you think it's something, your friend thinks it's something. You know, that's a movie for each person. Each person gets their own movie because they think of something. You know, you might talk to somebody and they're like, no, it's not gold. What are you talking about? It's got to be some kind of alien technology or something.
Right.
You know, because they got some hint, you know, from something they were talking about or something, you know. So... Or, you know, why do these nerdy guys have it? So maybe it's some kind of weapon or something, you know. So it could be, you know, anything that you think of. And so it makes the movie individually different for everybody. Everybody gets a different movie. Yeah. And he's like, I like that. You know, and these directors are thinking so deeply that I think that's what draws them to the movies. Like Christopher Nolan, he goes, people will bring up to him the fact that they're confusing. You know, like you watch Tenet, you know, you can watch it. I
still haven't seen it yet.
You haven't watched Tenet?
No, wow. I really need to.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
But it's gonna fucking confuse you.
No, I totally know.
Because he does that. He likes to bring some confusion to the story because he doesn't... If it's too simple, you're less interested, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have to think about the movie, if you're not thinking about it afterwards... then what's the point? You know, like he likes the confusion because then it allows you to think, allows you to try to figure out things, allows you to, you know, contemplate what they were doing. And you have to watch it more than once sometimes to get that. Like he did that with Memento.
Oh yeah. Watching that movie like twice is
you can watch different. It once. But then when you watch it a second time, it's like a different movie, right? Because you're looking at I'm looking at it from this angle now. You know, I was looking at it straightforward, and now, like, if I tilt just a little bit, I'm like, whoa, I see a whole different side of this movie. So, like, he creates these complex movies for you to enjoy, like, more than once and try to figure out.
Right.
And maybe you will never figure out exactly what was going on, you know, but that mystery, I think, brings you back to the movie. He's such a weird dude, man. You know, he's all analog. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a smartphone. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't carry a phone with him. He has a hardline phone. He doesn't use a computer.
Doesn't even use a computer?
No, he doesn't go online.
Damn.
Yeah.
You think he just, like, never learned and was like, fuck it, I'm not?
No, he just wants to involve himself in the projects, you know, like reading.
That makes sense, I guess.
He reads books, you know. He's totally into... And it's less distractions, right? Think of the world that he lives in without all the distractions.
Without the screens,
like
and
people
technology.
Can't even get a hold of him sometimes.
Oh my God.
You know, like, because he doesn't carry a phone.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, is he still using messenger pigeons?
You can write him a letter probably.
You'll get it. Damn, to be in that kind of industry and not have like the ability to reply to stuff. Like, he's got to have an assistant that handles all that, right?
I don't think
you can't work in the industry without email. You can't.
I think he has a way to accept emails. I think that's the only thing.
He's got to have an assistant that has all the accounts. He like never even sees it. He doesn't know what a Gmail app looks like. But his assistant goes and says, "Hey, so and so is talking about this, and they want to know what you think about that."
Maybe that's what it is.
And they just print it out for him if they need to see like larger shit.
Or they call him. They'll call him on the phone and talk to him. But he's not. Yeah, he's not going to be just sitting and looking through emails.
No, but he's got to have somebody who takes care of it. Like, you know, getting reservations for restaurants and shit. Like a lot of them too. Like, you might not be able to call anymore for some things.
I'm sure he has a line. I'm sure he has a way to talk to people.
Right. But I'm sure he's got to have somebody who's taking care of him.
I think he's had agents and managers. Yeah. But I don't think he has a personal assistant.
Does he have a wife?
Yeah, I think
maybe she's handling it all.
I think he's married. No, dude, this dude is so analog, man. It's so inspirational because like the movies he's making are also so futuristic at the same time. Like he's making these movies like are so like Interstellar. Interstellar's a crazy ass fucking movie, dude. And there's still people figuring out stuff about it. Like there's a point when Matthew McConaughey's on a planet and there's a tick that happens every like 1.5 seconds. Like tick, tick, tick. And that's supposed to be 1 year going by on Earth. So somebody figured out the math because he's so far away from Earth and they're still aging at 7 times the rate or something like that.
Right.
And they figured out, somebody did the calculations and was able to figure out what that ticking was in the scene.
Yeah. Or, where he's like between the realms of like time and the universe.
Yeah.
And it's like all these like narrow lines and shit that you're looking at.
Yeah.
All of that is sped up frames from earlier.
Yeah.
Like they're all just like the frames zoomed out so you could see them all individual frames of the movie.
There's also some other theories about the ending to it, that he didn't really go back and see his daughter. That's all just he's already died and that's like visions or something like that. Yeah.
I heard that one.
Yeah. There's some
that's
crazy...
like an Inception where the
you don't know if
the thing doesn't toss around.
The relic or whatever. Mm-hmm. I forgot what they called it. Did they call it relic or did they call it something else, huh?
It's like a totem. A totem.
Yeah. That's what you said. You said the T and then it just popped in my head. You're supposed to have your own totem and you're not supposed to share it with anybody. So you only know how it rolls or how it spins.
Right.
Which is kind of nutty.
And then...
Have you ever had...
But it was... who's that one British actor? The guy who played his dad. He played Alfred.
In Michael Caine.
Yeah. I think he was in an interview and said because he was like the guy who created the shit that he couldn't exist in there because he doesn't go in there. And so therefore the top would have fallen because he was in that scene. That was his explanation.
Oh, talking about the very end when it's spinning. Mm-hmm. If he's actually
dreaming,
you never see it fall.
Yeah,
it's just spinning. See, that's another thing that Christopher Nolan does.
Another fucking thing.
He leaves you wondering. He wants the confusion. He wants to build, even if you had to come to the conclusion that now he is in the real world. He still put the doubt there and made you think about it.
Right?
Because you never saw it fall.
No.
So,
but then we will never really know because it's like just an actor who said that. That's his perspective. Yeah. I don't even think he said that's the reason. But he says like, my theory is that such and such, and those are the reasons why, But
see, there you go too. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need.
Or like Leonardo DiCaprio's in Shutter Island.
I gotta watch Shutter Island. I never watched it.
You've never seen Shutter Island?
No, I never.
Oh, dude, I was about to spoil it.
It did get ruined. I think I know the ending. I don't even want to say it, but I think I know what happened because I heard somebody talk about it, so I kind of know. But anyways, yeah, he leaves the doubt in your head in his movies, which is part of the fun. That's part of the movie experience. I don't know. It makes it more interesting, it's an interesting, to make an interesting story, you have to give people things to think about. If you just give them all the answers and, I don't know. Yeah. You like that kind of stuff? I mean, it's fun to have a story that's just straightforward, funny, and and you laugh. But it's also, it's also nice to have something to think about.
No, and I think I've said it before too. Like, I enjoy the stories that are fun for different reasons. Like,
kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like recently we saw yesterday the new movie Strays.
Okay.
Now, Strays had a lot of like potty humor and everything. It's just, it's like such an old term. I don't know why I said it like that. But, you know, like.
Who's the main actor in the.
It's a voice actor, Will Ferrell.
Oh, it's a cartoon?
Will Ferrell. No, it's live action.
It's live action?
It's about dogs, and they voice the dogs. Like, think Homeward Bound. Dogs talking to each other and shit.
So it's real dogs, but then they have voice actors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have voice actors. So like the main one is
Will Ferrell,
Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
I'm forgetting this guy's name. You know the guy who is in WandaVision and the Marvel movies. He's the Asian guy
Jarvis?
from Fresh Off the Boat. The dad.
Oh, that's I
forget his name.
Fucking, I don't know his name. Let me see.
But he was in it too.
I'll just look it up real quick.
And this Australian girl who I can't remember her name either. Yeah, just look up Strays. Cast of Strays. And you'll see all the people. But it was a fun movie, even though there was a lot of like, you know, crude jokes and farce jokes. Just ones that were like the main idea of the film is that the dog has realized his owner has been a shitty ass owner, and he decides to like travel back after being abandoned 3 hours away from home, travel back to home on foot.
Oh, Randall Park?
Yeah. Just so that he can
I don't know why it took me so long.
Bite the dick off of his old owner.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So it's hilarious in that aspect that it's like absurdity, but the movie also is funnier because it's absurdity, but it's from a dog's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are certain things like you're giving a little bit more free will to the absurdity because we're listening to these dogs manifest entire.
Did they move the dog's mouth? Or was it one of those like, you know, like, were they talking like that?
They did a little bit, but it wasn't over the top.
Overdone.
Yeah, it wasn't overdone. Man.
Like their head goes side to side or something, you know.
It was like the dog's actually like barking. Like if the dog was barking or something, that's what the mouth movements were. But they replaced the barking with words or something.
Oh, okay. That's
so it seemed realistic. Like if you're the human watching this happen, you know.
So every time they bark, they're talking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So their bark was it. Okay. I guess that could work. And then with CGI and everything, they're able to move the mouth and stuff like that.
They move just a little bit to make it feel like it's supposed to go, but it's not over too much. Top. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, you know, these dogs are like peeing on everything. They're shitting on everything. They do like, there's some crude humor in there for sure. Like there's a whole scene where they're trying to break out of the dog pound, and the very large dog in there, played by Randall Park, they think that if he gets a big enough erection that he can grab the keys off the wall and they can open up the gate. And so the dog's over there like with a big erection, and then the other dog is a female dog that they've had this like sexual tension the whole movie and everything.
Yeah.
And so she's like saying stupid shit like, yeah, I just want you to, I'm wearing nothing but my fur, or and think about my 8 nipples, because it's a dog.
Yeah.
So stupid. But there was a lot of heart to the movie because you're hearing the dog like say all he ever wanted was just to be called a good boy, and and it's like super sad.
Oh my god!
And then you hear other dogs like there was this dog that's like
pet on the head.
Yeah, this dog is like super cute and shit. Like it belongs to some like blonde bimbo girl at the dog park, and the dog's like, and then she told me to sit, but I found that like she'll give me more attention if I just kind of like tilt my head a little bit and pretend like I didn't know what they wanted me to do, and then I do it. And I'm like, oh my god, that's Poe. That's my dog. My little dog, little shit. He's doing that shit on purpose. He knows what I want.
Yeah.
You know, so it was fun stuff like that. Like the movie became like relatable to dog people, I think, overall.
It sounds like a, decent movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun for sure. I'd recommend going and seeing it. It was good. Or at least waiting for it to stream and watch it.
There's a $4 movies going on this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
Yeah, all
theaters. Movies. Like there's no movie off limits.
No, I was gonna see Blue Beetle, but it was already
sold out.
Yeah, the times that I wanted to go. Why is this
happening?
It's a national movie fucking day or whatever.
They have fucking national movie days now.
Yeah.
How did I not know about this shit?
So every theater just decided to do $4 movies. So it's working. People are gonna be at the theater packed, man. All the tickets. Damn. Yeah, $4. I mean, you can't beat it. Yeah,
I want to see Blue Beetle. Is Oppenheimer still in IMAX?
I didn't even check the.
Because if that's $4, go see that.
It's by now it's already too late in the game. I was checking on Wednesday when I found out, and in the morning there was still a lot of tickets. But as the day went on, I waited till like 1:00, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and I waited too long. All the tickets that I wanted were gone.
I mean, at least that's for the best, because going to a movie when it's packed is not that fun.
I like the experience. I've had some good movie experience. It's like going to a theater or something, like a theater play. I
still don't like a packed audience anywhere I go.
It was fun going when I was a kid, and I would go to the Chinese theater. And, like we watched like Interview with the Vampire, and like it was such a like experience, to come and watch a movie over there, because it was different than watching a movie here. And dude, people would be clapping at trailers like, woo, yeah, they would just be like all into it.
Oh, yeah.
And then when the movie was about to begin, the curtains would open.
No, I've been to like that opening night Star Wars events and stuff, like waiting for hours in line outside with all, like they have like hardcore. Half of the cinema is just Star Wars showings for 12 at night. 12:01, because before they started letting showings come out at 8 on Thursdays, you actually wanted to go to see the movie first. You were there at 12:01 a.m. In line to see it Friday morning. And I was in like junior high watching the Star Wars movies. And it would be like that, like everyone would go like, woo, as soon as the music comes on and the thing goes and everyone's cheering or wowing at the same time. Yeah. That kind of energy is awesome.
Yeah.
And I can definitely understand going to something packed for something like that. But if I'm just like seeing a movie, like I'm not that invested into, or there's not like a cult following for it anyway, I don't see how it can be that much worth it to be in a packed theater. Like, I just wouldn't feel comfortable.
I like the experience of being in the theater, because especially now with the distractions, I like just being able to just focus on the movie. There's so many times when, we do have the, definitely digital capabilities now with our TVs and the streaming and the 4K and everything. We have good quality and sound, the surround sound, everybody's got pretty good setups, but there's still those distractions, and you got to pause the goddamn thing and wait. And then you're in the middle of the scene, and it's just like, I like the continuity of not stopping the story and watching it from beginning to end with no stoppages.
I get that.
And it's dark, it's perfect lighting for the situation. Then usually the sound is pretty good if you go to a good theater. So, but not every movie requires. We used to
have movie passes, and we go to the theater all the time. But I don't know. I just don't care for it anymore. I think I'm the opposite. I'd rather just watch it at home if I can.
If it's something worth watching at the theater, I like to go. But if it's just a regular movie, I'll wait. It's not a big deal. A rom-com or something, I can wait. But something that's worth watching, like Blue
I haven't
Beetle.
even found anything too worth watching anymore. Like, even Blue Beetle, I'm not sure if I would want to go to the theater. I might just wait for it to stream.
Jeez, man, you're really out of it, man. What happened?
I don't know.
If you talk to like young Steven,
like I just not.
he would be like, what are you talking about?
Right, totally. No, fuck, for real.
He would be like, who the hell are you, dude?
Yeah.
You lost it, man. You lost the experience. Somewhere it's gotten like dull for you.
Right. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel that fun anymore. Yeah. There's only certain movies. Like, we had a fun time watching Strays, but there was no one else in the theater. We went on Thursday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
You know?
That's always fun, too. Empty theater.
Yeah,
I always like those. Great. I like those.
No, I prefer those over packed theaters. So
no, I would only want a packed theater if it's opening night or something, or like it's an event. It's really a movie that when we used to really have those movies where people would go and watch them more than once. That was fun. Right. There's not a lot of movies that bring that out anymore. It's so weird, man. We don't have that feeling because it was a cool experience when you got that kind of stuff. What was we were talking about doing Deadpool. I think Deadpool, I would be down for that.
Yeah, we used to go to all the Marvel stuff and anything superhero related.
But it's going to be even better because this is going to be the third movie, and I'm hoping they're going to do a 3 movie thing. Know. If they do, I'll sign up for it.
I'm so interested to see what they do with it, bringing the universes together and everything, and I'm invested in that. But I don't hold up a lot of high hopes for this movie to be better than the last two.
The Wolverine's going to be gnarly.
We'll see.
And they're talking about putting Wolverine in an Avengers.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about putting everybody in it. He
signed up for
Andrew Garfield might come back and play Spider-Man for Secret Wars, and they're not going to have Tom Holland.
That's what it was. Wolverine's going to be in Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Wars. They're going to have a lot of people in Secret Wars.
They haven't had an X-Men in...
They have.
Who was it?
They had Professor Xavier.
Oh, okay.
In
which one?
Which one was that?
Yeah, because now
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, I gotta watch that again, dude. I've only watched it once.
Remember when Wanda goes and rips up that council? It had Xavier. It had Reed Richards. Played by that guy from The Office.
Yeah. It was an alternate version of.
They had Black Bolt from the TV show that they had done for the Inhumans.
I think he is going to be Reed Richards, though. I think they developed a movie for him.
He at least did it for that one, but they haven't confirmed anything.
That's right, because no, never mind. I'm thinking
his
of something
Reed Richards
else.
Was a little bit older Reed Richards, one who had already gone through it all. Yeah. But I mean, the guy still has a young face to play at least. I don't know. He could probably get away with late 30s or something.
So is Chris Evans gonna do Torch again? He can't. He can't. It's too weird, right? So crazy to think that
I
he did
just
that.
forgot about the other Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
The one we don't talk about.
Yeah. With Michael Chiklis.
That was so bad. It was so I don't know,
but at the time it was
so
cool.
Bad.
It was cool at the time. It was not, the first one was.
The first ones were cool. They were campy, a little bit
the first one. And then the second one was.
But when they did the reboot.
I like Silver Surfer, though.
I never saw that one, actually. I wasn't a big fan of Fantastic Four like that.
When I saw Silver Surfer, I was like, this guy's what we've been. He's different, it did change the tone of the movie. It was pretty cool to add him because Galactus is going to be in the new movies.
Oh, yeah. They've got to have Galactus eventually.
They're bringing him in. They've been talking about him, at least on some of the fucking...
Do you think they'll ever get to a point where they'll just stop making the Marvel movies?
No.
How can they keep expanding on this over and over and over again?
There's so many other stories. They're going different directions. They're trying to fix the failures. Do
you think, is there going to be a part where they reboot?
They might have to reboot some of the stories to fit in whatever they're doing next.
Because I feel like this whole thing is just so fucking crazy big and connected now. We live in an era where they're fucking doing this. We would have never thought that this could be done years ago. But it's being done now.
They built and they did like really good projects when they were doing Captain America and Iron Man and interwoven the stories, and
now they've connected like everything from like the TV shows, all have like, we were just watching Loki when you showed up.
I don't think they'd ever but yeah, to answer your question, I don't think they can ever stop. They're going to just keep making different stories.
I just don't know like how far it can go before they run out of the content to where they've caught up to everything. I mean, there's so much in the comics, don't get me wrong. They can keep jumping universes and doing other things. But how far are they going to go with us watching this specific universe of characters that we've been watching in theaters for the better part of 2 decades now or something?
I don't know, man. How many times can they do Batman over?
Yeah, but that's the thing. They just do it over.
Yeah.
But here, they haven't been doing it over. They've just been continuing. It's one giant story that's connecting.
They take time
over and over and over again.
They take time away from Batman and they bring him back, and he gets, because they left him alone for a little bit, and then
but that's not the same thing as I'm talking about.
Because they'll redo Iron Man. They'll eventually reboot it and tell some different stories.
What I asked you. Are they going to reboot the whole thing, or are they going to keep it connected? Because what's the next thing? Is going to be Ironheart, right? The girl's created her own Iron Man suit. That was in the Black Panther movie. So that would be the next thing. Or we have anybody else that's still my point is Tony Stark is not going to come back. He's dead, right? And do they replace him if they want to do that? Do they decide we're going to reboot the universe so everyone's all young again and they can use new actors and fresh blood?
They could start over. Who knows, man? Who knows what their plan is? I mean, they got options, It's
just going to go so far.
And I don't know what they have planned so far too. They're not really telling everybody what their whole plan is.
You got to get to because they do that in the comics. They'll get to a point where everything has been so big that now they got to reset the entire universe and everybody tells their stories again.
Yeah, so that's probably what they'll end up doing eventually. We might see a different version of Thanos, doing other shit, being on different planets. What if we saw a baby Thanos? Would you watch that? Baby Thanos.
What is baby Thanos? What is this shit, bro? I think you're too high now. We've gotten to a level where it's been flip-flopped here. I don't know. We're in an hour and a half almost. I think that's it.
I'm thinking of other stuff, man.
You're so far gone for it, dude. Yeah. That's not that.
Don't ask me for ideas, dude. I will come up with some ideas.
You were coming up with some things. I don't know if I call them straight ideas. They're definitely thoughts.
Has anyone talked about baby Thanos?
We don't need to talk about baby Thanos. Exactly. There's no need for a baby.
No one's talking about
I'm going to make you a shirt that says baby Thanos.
Hell yeah, dude. And that's how you end it.
Yeah, that's how it's ended. All right. Well, this has been Digital Cortex. We hope you've had an enjoyable time with us. My name's Steven. That's Randomstylez. And have a good night.
Later.